As a kid, I always wished I'd be struck by lightning. Not because I was depressed or anything like that, but because I very much wanted to be gifted the power of super speed. My favorite superhero has always been the Flash. I imagined what it would feel like to run anywhere I wanted, to be faster than a race car, a plane, or even light itself. I wished I could perceive the world in slow motion with godlike reflexes. Unfortunately, my super speed powers never kicked in. Going through puberty did make me slightly faster due to growing longer legs, but my top speed is probably less than 12 miles per hour. To be fair, I don't exactly try that hard to go fast, but even if I were to train my running speed every day, I'd still be too slow to get a ticket in a school zone. However, it wasn't over for me. There existed a place I could have any power or ability I could imagine, a place I could be anyone and do anything. The world of video games. I could be Batman, the Hulk, Iron Man, Spider-Man, or even the Flash? Well, not exactly. The Flash does appear in some video games. For example, you are able to run around as the Scarlet Speedster in a few LEGO games. It's good fun, but you aren't really going that fast. Maybe 3 to 4 times faster than the other characters, and still slower than the characters that fly. The only other notable game I can think of where you play as the Flash is Injustice. His moves are flashy, but it just doesn't fulfill that super speed fantasy. Well, okay. The Flash isn't exactly prolific in the video game world, but surely there are at least some video games where your character has the ability of super speed. Unfortunately, it seems that super speed, as I dreamed it, hasn't quite been properly implemented into any video games. To start, there are plenty of video game characters with super speed. There are games like Warframe, Infamous Second Son, the aforementioned LEGO games, DC Universe Online, Saints Row, and plenty more where your character can have the ability to run much faster than usual. Famously, we even have Sonic, whose whole thing is that he goes fast. For example, in Sonic Frontiers, he can run fairly quickly. However, there are limits to his speed. Even fully upgraded at his maximum speed, I, a lowly non-superpowered person, am able to keep up with his movements. He never goes so fast that your eyes aren't able to keep up with him. And this is true for many games that include playable characters with super speed. No one goes fast enough to fill that super speed-sized hole in my heart. Well, of course the character doesn't go so fast your eyes aren't able to keep up. If you go so fast you can't even perceive it, then the game would be completely unplayable. And that's not the only problem. If you are going that fast, then you need a world big enough for you to traverse through, and load times fast enough to keep up with you. Unless you have a PC more powerful than NASA's, it might be that technology just isn't there yet for a super speed game. But I am not willing to give up on my dreams that easily. Okay, maybe my potato adjacent PC can't load 1,000 square miles of detailed ultra graphics ray tracing game world in 1 second, but surely game developers are clever enough to make it work with simpler graphics. And as technology improves, this will only become more feasible. But the problem remains when it comes to human perception. I don't think we're getting cybernetic implants for quite some time, and evolving the human race into perfect gamers would take even longer. So what's the solution? Bullet time, also known as slow motion. Many games already have great bullet time mechanics. For example, Max Payne, Superhot, and Katana Zero. In these games, you simply hold down a button and time slows around you. However, these games don't really feature playable characters with the power of super speed. Super reflexes, sure, but not super speed. There are a few more minor problems when it comes to creating a video game with a super speedster. There is the problem of difficulty. When you are able to go faster than a bullet and slow down time to a crawl, how can enemies or obstacles possibly pose a challenge? One possible idea is to have enemies that have similar abilities. Now you might say that 2 characters with super speed fighting is kind of the same as 2 regular guys fighting. However, I think that as with any video game, there have to be some limitations. Katana Zero, I believe, has a great solution for this. In Katana Zero, you have a limited amount of slowdown you can use. This keeps you from constantly being in bullet time and forces you to choose when you want to activate your abilities. This creates challenging situations that require skill and quick reflexes, while still giving you a feeling of power. I could see this working great in a game where you have super speed and are able to use slowdown when necessary, but still must develop your reflexes and skill to handle a character that goes that fast. Another problem I anticipate is level and world design. Naturally, an open world game would seem to suit a character with super speed. The problem is, how do you create a map that is big enough while also being interesting enough to keep players engaged? This is actually a problem many open world games have, where the map is huge and beautiful, but ultimately hollow and empty, with nothing of substance to it. This is where I think we can take inspiration from racing games. Many open world racing games, like Forza, are littered with races and driving challenges. A video game where you traverse using super speed would have to operate pretty similarly. There would need to be running challenges with enough variety and challenge to keep things interesting. Of course, this would entirely depend on how running is implemented in the game. So how do you make running feel interesting? I imagine it would have to feel like driving a really fast car. You would have to manage acceleration and deacceleration so that it is challenging enough, and if you want to reach really high speeds, then you have to have quick reflexes in order to react to obstacles in time. In my opinion, it is clearly possible to create a video game featuring a character with super speed. We have video games with characters that go really fast, we have video games with mechanics that allow you to slow down time. So, where is this game that combines a really fast character with the ability to perceive time more slowly? As far as I'm aware, this game just doesn't exist. The closest you get is mods on GTA or Roblox. Now, to be fair, the Roblox game Flashpoint Worlds Collide is actually pretty fun. It hits the nail on the head when it comes to the basics of what I want from a Flash game. Unfortunately, it is on Roblox, and I am more than 9 years old. Of course, I also can't ignore the possibility that there just might not be that much interest in that type of game. Maybe there's no Flash game for the same reason there's no Arm Fall Off Boy game. The Flash movie didn't exactly break box office records, but with the increasing popularity of superhero games and improved power of hardware, I really do hope we get that Flash video game at some point, so I can fulfill my childhood dream. Until then, I'm just gonna have to keep standing outside in a thunderstorm holding a bunch of chemicals.